three. Johnny Walker. Mashing up against control. His shot. Bruce score. They score. They tie the game up 2-2.
Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse.
Wow.
5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edwards pulls off and buries the front.
Daniels takes the shot for Thurmond.
Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch, y'all. What is up? What is going on? Happy Thirsty Thursday for quite a few of us. I have a phenomenal show. What up, Low Tone? I have a phenomenal show in store for you today. I will be the first to talk to here, as it was released that we have another Pac-12 Coach of the Year coming on the program, and that is men's head golf coach Matt Thurmond, after coming off winning the Pac-12 championships by 16 strokes, and they are the number one seed now in regionals as they head to Rancho Santa Fe in California. So they are number one in the regional. We're going to get to catch up with Matt Thurmond. I'll get to that. We're also going to get to catch up with from Gulf Shores, Alabama, home of the women's volleyball national championship, I should say, Kristin Rohr, the first-year head coach, had so much success at Grand Canyon, and we'll chat with her, obviously, about that, the team. I'm looking forward to that. So, yes, this is the first year on Pitchfork Lunch, and I am so very glad that you could jump in and join me. And yes, but I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter. Also, you see so live on my IG, michael.caratino.5, and the YouTube. Guys, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe because you have, if you miss any interviews, and if you're watching live, you're not going to miss these two. But if you're going to miss a ton of interviews, there's a ton of interviews up there. Again, get to know coaches, players, programs, all that good stuff. Go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe. Greatly appreciated. Go back and check out all the shows. That's all you got to do. You can go back and check them all out. So that being said, yes, also huge ups, big shout out to Coach Taryn Van Thoff and the women's lacrosse team beating Oregon yesterday, avenging that loss. Now they take on Stanford at 4:30 today. So absolutely loving that. Or no, they take on Stanford. They beat Oregon. Sorry, I almost said that backwards. Yeah, they beat Oregon, and now they are taking on number 1 seed Stanford. But hey, to be the best, you got to beat the best. They become cliches because they're true. So forks up absolutely to the women's lacrosse team. Keep crushing it. So glad I got to get out there on a senior day. And again, check that awesome match out against UC Davis. Also, big ups to baseball. Talked a little bit about it yesterday. They get the 2-game sweep of UC San Diego. And they put up 19 runs yesterday. 15 the day before. So, yeah, 34 runs in 2 days. You'll take that. 5 dingers from 5 different players yesterday. And they were not all solo shots, which, again, Coach, looking forward to that. So, depending on, the interviews, we'll see what we can get. But we'll recap baseball and softball. Obviously, they are getting set for their weekend series against UCLA. Coach Bartlett, and that, I want to say we'll get to that, is the last regular season series. And then they go to Pac-12s, which are up at Stanford this year. So, but softball getting ready for that. So I shall definitely let you know. Before the end of the show, we'll talk times and all that good stuff. Again, 19 and 27 overall for Coach Bartlett. Again, the injuries have shortened the bench, but they've battled, and that's one thing I said. It's not about just a silver lining or a moral victory, but this team has battled. And these youngsters, again, someone got thrown into the fire maybe a teeny bit earlier, but birth by fire, as we say. So they are, they are hosting UCLA this weekend. Number 7, by the way, they went from playing number 20 Cal, which they got 1 game off of, to taking on number 7 UCLA Friday at 6, Saturday at 5, and Sunday at noon is when they shall be taking on UCLA. So, last homestand. So get on out there and to Club Farrington, and let's beat up on UCLA a little bit, right? Absolutely. So, but anywho, I'm going to take a break because, I'm going to take a break. When we come back, though, the newly minted and Pac-12 men's golf coach, Pac-12 Coach of the Year, Matt Thurmond's going to be joining me. Yes, absolutely. Right here on Pitchfork Lunch. So, again, I'm telling you, don't go too far. Get a few bites of your lunch and come back, and we'll hear from Coach Thurmond. All right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, you know it. I'm Michael Caratenuto at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as Twitter. Check out the show live there every day. Also, my IG, michael.caratenuto.5. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll be very, very happy, because if you're not watching me live now, you'd miss this. But if you're watching, you know, tell your friends. So bringing in a coach of the year, another Pac-12 coach of the year that I've been lucky enough to have on this program, men's golf coach Matt Thurmond. Matt, hey, congratulations, obviously, on just being named Pac-12 Coach of the Year. You and your team had one hell of a season, to say the least, and it's still going, which is the most important thing. But thanks for taking the time and jumping in with me here, Coach.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a great season so far. As you know, what really matters is up ahead. But you know what really matters also is the Pac-12 championship. And we needed to win that one. We really wanted to win that one. It's the last. We were hosting it, and the guys just played awesome. Today, a bunch of awards were announced. So we got guys, have accomplished incredible things this year. So thanks for having me on. I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, Coach, you said something the other day, and quite a few of my golf friends were kind of laughing, because obviously winning the Pac-12 championship, and yes, I mean, ASU throughout the years, when you took the job, I mean, you obviously knew the history, but we've been spoiled throughout the years of dominant golf. And then to win the last Pac-12 championship, like you said, in 2008, being close a few times. But my friends were like saying, oh, that you felt cursed, or you didn't know if you could do it when they heard you in the interview post. They were kind of laughing. But I say that because, yeah, you hosted this Pac-12 and then hosting the national championship the last 3 years. As a coach, is it tough not to feel extra pressure when you're hosting the national tournament, or in this case, the Pac-12 tournament?
It's impossible not to feel extra pressure. I mean, that's what I signed up for at ASU. That's what every player signed up for here. We know there's extra pressure on us. It's just the reality. Like, we have a storied history. We're a place where we're supposed to be really good. Yeah, we won 13 Pac-12 championships, way more than anybody else. And that's what we expect. And so if we don't win, even if we're second or third, or we're always good, or we're always ranked high, I mean, not winning is frustrating for us. And I know that. And, pressure, it's part of the deal, and we like it. We want it. We want those expectations. It doesn't make it any easier. In fact, it makes it harder. You play your best when you're not thinking about that stuff, not too worried about the results. And so that's the balance we try to find. But at ASU, you are the school that when people look at the scoreboard, they look for first, and that's part of the deal.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I remember the heyday, I guess people could say, when you get nostalgic, but of the 90s and just winning those titles. And like when I was at ASU, one of my friends said, I kind of feel bad for other teams. Do you think they just come in knowing that they have no chance? And I was like, I could care less. Good for them. But no, I mean, you're right. And I thought about that, getting to, check out the last few years of the national championship being here. But one thing, when we finally lined this up, I was looking back research some stuff, and I came across an article where you went and got your master's, and you were pushed by the guy that's got some of the best one-line zingers ever in Doug Tamro. I see a smile there, but Doug. But when you get your master's in just going back to school to get that, obviously the season got canceled. It was the pandemic. But from how did that even better you as a coach? Because I found it interesting when I was reading, you're saying, you're in groups, you're doing group stuff with different people, but you're not always in charge. And I know for a coach and that mindset, that's hard to do.
Yeah. So that was a great experience for me. It was during the pandemic. I was super frustrated that we weren't playing golf, and my wife had decided to go back to school and get her degree. And I'm just like, you know what? I want to do this too. I always expected myself to get a master's. So we decided to do it at the same time, do it together. I was lucky to get into Thunderbird, which is such an awesome school, global management school. And I loved it. And there was a lot of good elements of that, right? I got to feel what it's like to be a student, and there's a lot of value in that. I mean, I know how this whole system works online, and all these quizzes and all the discussion boards, and deadlines and how to interact with professors and office hours and group projects. So that was really cool just to know what my players experience. And when they're on the road and they're like, hey, I got to turn this paper in, or I got to get this test done after playing 36 holes, I felt the same thing. I mean, I was working on a major paper during the NCAA championship with a group. And I'm like, man, this is brutal. But this is what my guys experience all the time. So that was great. And then I think, for me, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm a decent leader and coach. And I played the same role pretty much in my school. I was in group projects and I got to see that, I'm pretty much the same guy. I mean, I may not add all the intellectual power of the group, and I may not be the perfect guy to run all the numbers, but I tended to make the groups fun and to make sure everybody got their job done and our teams and groups did well. And so it was fun for me to kind of develop myself in that way and see that regardless of what I'm doing, these are my skills. This is what I do well. And I loved it. And now I'm an ASU alum.
See, I love, and again, that's why I started the show, being an ASU alum, covering sports. Like everybody else is talking about things, I'm just going to keep it all on the greatest university in the world, in my opinion. Some might differ, but yeah, getting a Master of Applied Leadership and Management. Okay, so I mean, fast forward this year's team. I mean, you just won Coach of the Year when you got Freshman and Player of the Year, which is just phenomenal. But in dealing with this team, which again, I mean, you bring guys uber talented and every player is different. I mean, I always crack up saying, coaching golf to me is one of the toughest things because it's the biggest individual team sport ever. Everybody's got different quirks in their swings, and a coach is just supposed to be able to, in their game, figure that out. But when you look at the guys this year, I mean, obviously when you winning that, and I mean, Preston coming back, Riggs obviously haven't been there, just this whole lineup. Getting that degree, how has that helped with this team? And I mean, has what's been, I guess, some of the funnest parts? Is it tough to sometimes sit back and be like, oh, they got this?
Well, coaches by nature are control freaks, and they're the ones that are supposed to have all the answers and do this, you need to fix this. That's the world we live in. And sometimes coaches are actually very poor at receiving feedback, but we're very good at giving it. And, that's something we all need to work on. But I don't know. I think, I've recruited very well. And if there's anything that the degree helped me with, it's recruiting, and that, I can go, and I was interested in global business because of this. I can pretty much go anywhere in the world and feel comfortable, understand the culture, learn what I need to learn, and connect with the people in a way. And that's something I'm passionate about. And if you look at our team, we've got, in our starting five, we had a Chinese player, a Spaniard, a Norwegian, an Arizonan, a Montanan, and a San Diegan, right? So, and then at home, we have somebody from Miami and Thailand. Like, each one of those people brings a totally different culture and life experience to the team. Many of them speak different languages. They all have their own coaches, to your point. They all have their own kind of background of how they got here and their principles of what worked for them. So as me, I'm not the one to have all the answers. I'm the one to kind of pull it all together and to help each one in their own way, wherever they need to take those next steps in their progress. So it's fun. I mean, it's fun to be able to kind of orchestrate that whole culture and atmosphere and to see them all work together. People talk about diversity and all this. I mean, you look at a golf team and you have this cross section of people from all over the world, all speaking different languages, and they work beautifully together as a team and make each other better. It's really a model for how it should look.
And with this team, I mean, guys like, obviously Preston being around for a minute, Riggs being around for a minute, with those guys kind of being not kind of being the upperclassmen and the upper statesmen of the team, I guess. How has their leadership, helped this team, and how do you feel that they've even grown as players?
Yeah, any program to have any sustained success, not just program, company, any organization, anytime, to have sustained success, it has to have these people that carry on tradition and build culture and tradition. And I'm not talking about like ceremonial tradition. I'm talking about how we operate and who we are, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, how much do we care, all those little things that are so hard to instill. Right. You have any coach has to have these key players that embody all the values of a program and carry them on, and don't allow the next generation to be anything less than what's expected by this organization. So, Riggs is in his 5th year, and Riggs has our team GPA was nowhere near what it is now when Riggs got here. But Riggs has gotten a 4.0 GPA. He takes school seriously. He's a leader. He's helped other guys with their school. And you know what? Our team is now a 3.6 GPA, in large part because when you come into this team, it's expected because Riggs has set the tone. So that's an example. Preston and the amount of work he does. The guy works so hard every day and plays with incredible passion. Well, everybody now knows we don't even have to talk about that. That's just the way we are. And Preston, as our leader, shows it and embodies it. And you better live up to that if you want to be a part of this program. So those guys, their leadership, those are just 2 quick examples.
Right.
I could go on and how they lead, right, and how fortunate we are to have guys like that. And when they leave, we miss them. But hopefully they've trained the next guys well enough to them do the same thing for the next group.
Have you ever been in on any heard any conversations with Preston and his sibling little golf trash talking?
Oh, yeah.
Her being on the women's team. She says she can beat them all the time, right?
Oh, it's an art form. Good trash talk is an art form, and any golfer has to develop that at a young age. Absolutely. To survive, you better be able to run your mouth, because especially a guy like me, when your skills deteriorate, you need to be able to talk even more, because that's pretty much all you have at this point.
Well, I don't know if you're playing. Look, and that course, obviously, Desert Forest. I mean, the fact I was telling people out there, I was just like shaking my head, and they're like looking at me. I'm like, no, I'm not shaking my head because I could do better. It just brings back nightmares. Years ago, Coach, one of my friends, his brother-in-law got us on to play Del Mar, San Diego. It's a desert course. I felt pretty good. And I was, just kind of started playing a little bit. Yeah, I lost 27 balls on a desert course, Coach. So when I saw people walking around, I'm like, man, this is tough. But talk to me about, when you obviously had a heck of a year. I know, like you said afterwards, those 2 out of those last 3 holes were tough for him, but just such a phenomenal year, and even a great Pac-12 tournament. I mean, look, that eagle on 9, that second shot, I was just like, yep, that's why he's where he is. And Coach knows that's why he's where he is. But I mean, just what's it been like working with him as he keeps getting these accolades? He seems pretty even-keeled about it.
I think in college sports, we maybe become a little desensitized to how special it is. But think about this. I mean, this is a kid that I met when he was 14 years old. He's probably the very best in his age group, best 18-year-old maybe in the world. Right. Comes from China, comes to ASU, and I get to watch and coach it every day. I mean, he is greatness. Like he's better than me. He's just incredible. Like how he lives his life, how he operates. So just to be around the very best at what they do is such an honor as a coach. And I've been able to watch him up close. He's really elevated the other guys on the team too. And even guys like Preston and Jose will say, I've learned a lot, and my game's gotten a lot better just watching him. I mean, guys like, whoa, this guy is really good. He practices his own way. He thinks his own way, approaches a course his own way. And we're all learning from him. Proud of him. He just won the Pac-12 Player of the Year, first Sun Devil since 2007. And you think about all the players we've had, it's a tribute to the conference. I mean, to think John Rahm didn't win it, well, Maverick McNeely was tough to beat in those years. First one to win both the Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year in the same year since Patrick Cantlay did it in 2011. So pretty awesome that Ding's been able to come in as a freshman, actually play half a year and still have it be so great that he was still the Pac-12 Player of the Year.
Coach, let me ask you this, because you said even from like getting your master's and like you said, learning, like guys come in talented, and yeah, they obviously always have tweaks, have to, tweak their game, certain, maybe the way they're swinging. What's the balance for you? And, feel like obviously, yes, coaching them / giving advice, but just kind of letting it lay back because whatever they're doing is working for them. How tough is it for you coaching, like within the conversations maybe you're having with, your other coaches and kind of maybe with yourself, just thinking, but when you see somebody that's uber talented like that, but yeah, they obviously can be coached up. What's the balance? What's the tough part in the balance of that?
Yeah. Again, I think coaches want to have all the answers, and there's a lot of ego associated with that. And I, of course, have an ego too, but in this case, I don't, like all I want is him to play well and to be happy as a person. And so I think a good example of this was, when I was at Washington, CT Pan came in, he was in the 2011 recruiting class. And when he came in, he was ranked number 8 in the world among amateurs. So he hadn't even, he wasn't even an amateur yet. He was just a junior golfer, and he's already ranked 8 in the world. And I'm thinking, what in the world am I going to offer this guy?
Right.
And the truth is, I didn't have that much to offer him in the golf game. I mean, he already was very developed. He didn't even use a coach. He kind of did it all himself. I helped him a little bit with his putting here and there. But you know what I did do? I taught him how to drive. I helped him learn how to swim in the swimming pools at the hotels. I taught him how to throw a football. I taught him how to balance, and I not taught him, but I helped him learn how to balance his life, how to manage the pressure, how to stay healthy with the, all the rigors of the game, how to keep his, how to develop his confidence and his social skills in a group and his leadership ability. All these things are going to be huge in your career and your life. So, the golf coach role, it isn't just, hey, fix your swing this way or hit it here. I mean, that's the easy stuff.
Right.
The real stuff is, are they ready as a man and as a professional golfer to have success the day they leave? Are they prepared for everything's going to come at them, but from a media standpoint, and assembling their team and managing distractions and family and health and of course golf and pressure. I mean, those are the things that, maybe are even more important than the technical golf skills that I might teach.
Right. And then lastly, Coach, I got to get you out of here on this. I mean, number one, headed to Rancho Santa Fe in California for the regionals. I know I was watching on the Golf Channel. Obviously, they, people say, oh, it's always easy to praise, somebody that's up top, but had very high praise for you guys. But you go in as number one. And I mean, Preston says something interesting to me. He goes, now all the pressure's there on regionals, but he's like, he just had that look like, we're equipped to deal with it. But going in as number one, how do you feel that? I mean, team's obviously playing well, but how do you feel they're looking? And can they bring this home?
Well, of course they can bring it home, but if you focus too much on that, you're going to get in trouble. Each one of our guys has to do what they got to do to play their best. We're a good team, so if we do our part and we play well, we'll be fine. It's nice to be in that position. That it doesn't really depend on the other teams as much as it just depends on us doing our thing. We've won it the last 2 years, but there's my first 2 years here, we finished fifth and barely sneaked in. We know both, and we'll take it either way. We just want to advance to the NCAA championship. The guys are ready. They are equipped, but it won't be because we take it lightly. It'll be because we know how to prepare.
All right, Coach, I kind of fibbed one last one because I got to get a fun one in. So with all this international flavor, who have you seen? And it might be you, but who's the biggest prankster on the team?
Prankster.
Yeah. Who would you say is, I mean, does anybody stick out, or is it kind of maybe a group effort to help relax guys even more? But is there a biggest prankster, or probably, is it you?
It's probably Thomas and me, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, this group is so tidy and buttoned up that it's probably us. We're the ones that keep it stirred up. And, Mason Anderson dropped by yesterday, and I was just reminded what a fun atmosphere he is. I mean, he's a prankster. Every time we come into the locker room, normally Mason would have drawn something or on someone's locker that's, obscene or funny. But this is a pretty serious group, and they're a little less inclined to the pranks, but we make sure to keep it live.
Right. And you keep it light, because again, at golf, like I said, I mean, I just tell people, like I said, out at the Pac-12 championship on Sunday, I just kind of laugh. I go, some of these yardages, I see a par 4, 527. I'm like, you could change it to a par 8, and I still I'm not getting par. I'm like, man, such a beautiful course. But Coach, hey, congratulations. Go get them at Rancho Santa Fe again. Congrats on being Coach of the Year. Well earned, well deserved. And for Wenyi and the team. And I appreciate you coming into Pitchfork Lunch with me.
Hey, have me anytime, and hopefully we win a championship, and we can come back on and talk about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Coach, I will hold you to that, because I definitely, I'll even come out. We could do a big group one with the team. I'll come to you and make it easy. My studio's portable.
Well, let's do our part first, and then we'll talk about that later. Sound good?
Absolutely. That is Matt Thurmond. We're going to step aside. I'll have more Pitchfork Lunch coming up. All right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratanudo at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as Twitter. You guys all know that, all the goods. But now, again, they are getting ready for their first ever NCAA tournament in beach volleyball with the coach that, well, has obviously a knack for winning, but I don't know what's in the water in the volleyball programs at ASU this year, but I am a big fan of it. Kristin Rohr joining me. Coach, thank you so much for obviously taking the time. And so how's the weather in Gulf Shores? Are you finally getting some heat like you wanted during the Pac-12s?
Yeah, it's great. I'm from Florida, so being back in the humidity is it's different. I've really gotten used to the Arizona dry heat, and I love it. But you can't beat being by the beach. And just I had to walk over and do an interview earlier, and the setup is amazing. And I'm just they actually haven't had an opportunity to go to the site yet because we practice there for the first time tomorrow. And so I'm just excited for them all to see it, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I talked to Taryn yesterday, and obviously her being a local kid from Desert Vista, she goes, how the weather okay? I go, we're not going to get any crazy wind like Arizona never gets, but you guys got. She goes, yeah, it's a little sticky. I go, I know. You go from one terrible dry heat to the humidity and the stickiness, and I go, takes a second to adjust to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the last couple of years, it's gotten pretty windy, and even last year it was pretty hot at some point. So I'm glad that we're used to the heat. Maybe a little different heat, but we're used to it.
Well, Coach, I started this off by saying I don't know what's in the water with volleyball, which has always been, one of my favorite sports, just to watch. But when I started broadcasting, like calling volleyball and just men's side, women's side, to see some of the unbelievable plays, and being a soccer player, Coach, I do have to say this: like growing up playing center mid, I love on the beach every now and then when the girls, show off even more of their ridiculous athleticism and just kind of stick the foot out and deliver the perfect pass to their teammate. As a center midfielder, I definitely congratulate them on that, and I love that.
That's awesome.
But no, I was going to say, I mean, what's in the water of volleyball? I mean, Coach Van Neal comes in and the team goes, into the tournament to the Sweet 16. I thought about starting the interview off with, your unbelievable, just phenomenal resume, which I have talked about all season long on my show. But it would take up the whole interview, what you did at Grand Canyon and your playing career. But, let's start with that, with coaches to move on. I mean, obviously, like you built something at Grand Canyon, it's rolling. I mean, you take them to the tournament for the first time. The opportunity comes to go to ASU. And like, as a coach, I mean, it's got to be a fit. Obviously, you don't have to leave the state. Don't got to go too far. But what made ASU and just coming over to run the beach program right for you, Coach?
I mean, I love Arizona. I moved from Florida in 2015, I think it was. And just something about it right away felt like home. And got my mom to move over to Arizona as well from Florida. And so it just was really important for me to stay in the area because I just love it. And my husband, his family's all there. And I mean, like, ASU is a great university. Like, I've always seen, we live in the area right around there. And so I'd always see all the bumper stickers and license plates. And there's just such a great following of the university, and there's so much support. And, I knew a lot of the athletes that went there just because I recruited a lot of them. And I knew that it could be a really special program. And when the opportunity came up and I sat down and talked to the admin and just heard about like what they wanted for the program, and it really aligned with what I would want to do, building and growing a beach volleyball program. So everything about it just fit and felt right. And, there's a time that comes in your career of coaching or whatever you're doing that sometimes you just need a little something different to almost like, a new challenge, or to just kind of kickstart, just a new passion. And it's been so fun, like working with these athletes. I love this team. I love the university, and it's been a lot of fun. And I couldn't ask for, a better group to be able to come to Gulf Shores with to keep the season rolling.
Absolutely. And I mean, you got hired in the summer, so obviously you kind of always say to coaches, I mean, whenever you get hired for your sport, you kind of hit the ground, not just, jogging or walking. It's a sprint.
Yeah.
But when you have a second or two to breathe in the fall, when you're seeing what the indoor team is doing, what Coach Van Niel's doing over there, how much more exciting is that for you?
I mean, our sports are so closely related, though they're very different sports. And, like you always just want to see your like kind of counterpart do well. And for JJ to come in and do what he did, like it was amazing. And we loved going to the matches, loved following them. I was hoping they were going to make it to the Final Four because I was going to convention. And so I'm super excited for, the future of that program as well. And I just think JJ is a great coach and he's going to continue to do great things with the program.
Well, and I mean, look, I guess, as coaches, you guys love competition because like you said, I mean, the same, but, different. He set the bar high for volleyball, which again you're no stranger to it. And I want to obviously give a shout out to Daniela Kensinger and Ava Williamson for being named AVCA second team All-American honor. So yeah. I mean, you have with this team, you have experience, like you have the experience with the upperclassmen. But for them to do that, I mean, and, you're going kind of back and forth and trying to see, who plays well together and the chemistry and pairing up, which is, like indoor to outdoor, 6-on-6, like I said, to turn to 2-on-2, whole different mindset. But for Daniela and Ava, I mean, what did you just see from them this year, and what kind of magic coaching? I mean, don't give away all your secrets. What kind of magical sprinkled dust did you put on them and the rest of the pairs?
I mean, just even watching, we'll start with Daniela, like even just watching her when she first came in, I was talking to her today, like, I feel like we had this conversation in the beginning of the year, like you could be an All-American, like you have that talent level. And so it's something I saw in her from the get-go. And same thing with Ava, sometimes as a freshman, it's a tall ask to be high up in the lineup and to respond to that pressure. And I did my little interview with ESPN this morning, and we were talking about how you don't always know how they're going to respond. Like it could take a little while they could have some breakdowns before they have breakthroughs, but she's just been so steady through the whole season. And she's so like determined to get better. She does all the little things. She works hard in the weight room, conditioning. She watches film. She's always talking to us as coaches, like, where can I improve? And she just works really hard. And so I knew she had it in her as well. Did I know it was going to happen this fast? Like that's one of the bigger things in our sport that is like really hard to do is to be an All-American, and the fact that she did that as a freshman is incredible. And the fact that Danny came in her first year, she has experience in the ones last year, but the fact that she was able to even just be competing at this high level, like I'm so proud of both of them. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's again, first team, second team. And it's funny because I talked to Coach Jones from wrestling, and, I'm like, wow, you have a chance. You were, a silver medalist. And it always cracks me up when people are like, oh, they just won a silver medal or a bronze medal, or, oh, they're just second team. I'm like, do you hear the words coming out of your mouth? Obviously that those people never competed, Coach, but no, that is awesome. And, talking to Taryn yesterday, it's kind of funny. She said that the freshmen, like some of the freshmen, like they were scared of her. I'm like, Taryn, I'm like, you're a competitor, but how are they scared of you? And she's like, I don't know, but they just said that they were. So what did these upperclassmen do to kind of toughen up these little pups, Coach?
I mean, like you look at Taryn, you look at Lexi, Ivy, Kate, like our 4 seniors, and they've been here since the beginning,
right?
And they have been a huge part of the success of this program. And I'm just so happy that they're able to, like finish their career on this note. Here at Gulf Shores, doing what we've done this season. And like, they're just not afraid to hold their teammates accountable, like they went to Ken. Ken was telling me this today. They went to him and they were like, we don't care what it takes. Like, we want to be the best we can be. And that's what they said to him last year when they were looking to hire. And, they just have been bought in from day one and are just willing to do whatever it takes to to go out on a high note and take this program as far as they can while they're here. So they're not afraid to hold the freshmen and everyone else accountable and be tough when they have to be. So,
well, Terrence said now they're fighting like siblings, which is perfectly fine. That the fear is not so much there, which is good. But Coach, you talk about that, the pairs. I mean, obviously what, Taryn and Lexi had is, 20-9 on the season, absolutely phenomenal. But with your success and even coming into a new program, for people that don't get it, what's the biggest, like, the fun part? It's fun, but the challenge in pairing the right two up.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting because we have the fall to try all these different partnerships, and some of them are really clear cut. And then some of them you might not even think about. And then one day they're just happen to be on a court together at practice and you're like, oh, wow, like that might work. Or sometimes you have people that on paper should be the best partnership there could be, but there's so much that goes into the, even, males can usually jump on a court with someone else and they might hate each other and they can find a way to win. With females, there's a lot more of like, hey, I need someone who's going to motivate me. I need someone who's going to be tough on me. I need someone who's going to, kind of be my cheerleader when I'm struggling. So there's so many little intricate details that go into it and sometimes you spend part of the year trying to figure out what that right partnership and lineup is to equal success. So
Well, Coach, you sound like you were describing me and my cousins when we played, like I said, playing soccer together for my uncle, because there was a lot of times like I don't even want to look at you, but you play. You're right. You play the game. All right. So the fun part to this, who's the? I was asking Taryn, is there like a big prankster on the team? Maybe of the upperclassmen, because I guess the young pups were too scared to do anything. But is there a pretty good prankster on the team? Is somebody kind of, maybe messing with somebody, moving their lucky socks or something like that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually not even. Who did she say?
Well, she said Lexi's actually really good with the witty, because it doesn't sound like it's like you might think you got her, and then she'll say something witty, and you kind of walk away, and you're like, and then you think about it, and I was like, oh, she got me, like just the little zingers. She said from Lexi. So
sometimes,
wait, are you the best prankster? Do you like to play jokes on the team?
I think it might be Paul.
Oh, okay. All right. You can give credit to whoever you want.
I think it might be Paul, but it's funny because coming in as a new coach, there's still that period of getting to know everyone and getting to know your athletes, and then them getting to know you. So there's times when I might think someone's like really shy and reserved because that's how they are around me. And then I make a comment about it and their teammates are like, oh, you have no idea. And so I think sometimes I'm kind of kept in the dark.
Oh, all right. So they don't want you to know because they don't want maybe you to partake in it. I see. Right. Fair enough. You got the experience. And Coach, my last one for you. I mean, playing, and again, thank you so much for taking time. Playing in the Pac-12. I mean, you look at the bracket. Obviously, there's 6 out of the 16 teams are from the conference. Which, again, in a lot of sports, I say there is no best conference. But in beach volleyball and in women's hoops, I've always said Pac-12, not even close. But the schedule you played, the amount of obviously ranked opponents, which was another record for the program that you beat. Yes, it gets you ready, but when you go to a tournament like this, I mean, since you have that experience as a coach, how does it help the team when they kind of get in those tighter situations from, like I said, the unbelievably tough and phenomenal schedule that you guys played?
Yeah, I mean, just being in the Pac-12 alone allows us to have a super tough schedule. Like at my previous school, we weren't even in a conference and we just had to position ourselves the best way possible to get an at-large bid.
Right.
So, being in the Pac-12 allows us to have to play all the tough competition, to go to host the Pac-12 South, to go to the Pac-12 North, to host the Pac-12 championships. Like all of those are preparing us for what we're going to be facing this week, and it's just kind of the way beach volleyball works in general. Like even when you are in a conference, you might have 1 or 2 mid-season events, but you just have to kind of make sure that, because strength of schedule is something that gets you into the tournament. So that's a big piece of it. But just you have to beat the best to be the best. And, you know, like to be able to get to nationals, like you're not going to get there by playing a bunch of unranked opponents. You know, you have to show that you have those wins. So I feel like all the matches that we've played all season, and especially the pressure of being in the Pac-12, having it be, you know, single elimination in the championship after we got into the losers bracket, like that's all the pressure to prepare us for this week. So.
Right. And like I said to you after the game, for the fives on the last court, when every single eye is on you, again, as athletes, you try not to think of pressure, but it's hard not to look around for a second and be like, okay, it's just down to us. But Coach, look, go crush them on Friday. Again, thank you so much for you know, jumping on the Pitchfork Lunch. Like I said, I was an alum. This has been a brainchild for a long time, and everybody talks about their conference and their school. So I started a show, and I'm like, we're just going to go all ASU, like you said, seeing the plates and everything. In my eyes, being an alum, the greatest university ever. So, but thank you so much. And hey, go crush them on Friday. I will be watching bright and early here in Phoenix, 8 a.m. I love waking up to that. And we'll catch up soon, Coach.
Thank you so much.
And we will have more Pitchfork Lunch coming up.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Victory problem.
Come on, Connor. Hey guys, why don't you come sign these real quick?
And just a little homage there to volleyball and men's golf. So want to thank both coaches. That is awesome. The newly minted, just a little bit before the show, Pac-12 Men's Golf Coach of the Year, Matt Thurmond, and then Kristin Rohr of Women's Beach Volleyball, taking them to their first national championship. And again, she just, like just sitting there talking to her now, like the calmness about her. And yeah, as coaches, I mean, yes, you when you're out there, again, it's hard, obviously, for fans not to get, go with the, emotions of the crowd, but just to, see those things like you talked about, obviously the upperclassmen, the leaders on the team, and, being there and working so hard to get there. And, same thing for, Coach Thurmond. And, like you saw that little chip out there from Wen Yi Ding, who, like I said, freshman and a player of the year in half a season. And I laugh because, like Coach said, like that's just like unheard of. And yeah, I mean, a huge reason as to why this team was just absolute money this year. And, like guys, like he said, like Riggs Johnson, who would, when I played the sound, you heard it here on Pitchfork Lunch. If if you missed it, you can always go to, my YouTube channel, subscribe. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe away. Because it's one of those things where you missed interview sound, stuff like that. But Coach Thurmond talked about like what he meant to the team, but even a guy like Riggs Johnson, who he said, just had a battle. And he was looking at Coach and he's like, it's got to, battle to get back to par. And he did, and he made a charge and, was one of the reasons why ASU won by 16 strokes. And, Preston Summerhays talked about it too. So it is very, very awesome. Again, to get to catch up with Coach Thurmond and to catch up with Coach Rohr, who's just, again, doing phenomenal jobs. And yes, there is definitely a little something extra in the water around the volleyball, the volleyball section of the building, whether indoor or beach. But no, both Coach Rohr, phenomenal season. And we'll see what they do. 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, bright and early, they get started at Gulf Shores. So you can you can check it out. It'll be on ESPNU, and they will be taking on Cal Poly. Cal Poly, the 5 seed, ASU's a 12 seed, but looking to advance and see if they can get a matchup with a conference foe right after that. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's a very heavy Pac-12 field. So tough. And there are schools in there, obviously, that not just conference, but out of conference that the Devils have victories over. You heard Coach Rohr talking about it right there, that schedule. And I talked about it with Taryn the other day too. I mean, that schedule, yes, you want to show you belong in the postseason and, to get an at-large if, you don't win the conference tournament, which again, they gave it a hell of a run. And sending that team from, Arizona home, never a sad thing. But that being said, so lastly, I want to get to baseball, by the way, because last night was a phenomenal victory for the Devils. 5 home runs. And I said this off the top of the show for 5 different players. So it was Steve Ondina, Ethan Mendoza, his first home run of the year, his first home run for the freshman as a Sun Devil. So absolutely stoked. I got sound, and we'll hear from that tomorrow as we're previewing the thing. But we'll hear from Kian Vu and Ethan Mendoza tomorrow. Because again, scheduling the coaches, obviously you want to get it on here on Pitchfork Lunch. So yeah, absolutely awesome. But Ethan Mendoza hit his first of the year versus the Sun Devil, and then Jacob Tobias had a dinger, as did Nick McLean, and Kian Vu hit a 480-foot shot last night. So he is batting .450 on the season. So yeah, he was he was 3 for 4 last night. Had 4 RBIs and 3 runs scored. So yeah. a hell of a night for Kian Vu, who has just kept it up. And we'll hear from both him and Ethan Mendoza tomorrow because he's in his zone and he appreciates it, obviously. But and the work he's put in, and Coach Bloomquist has talked about that. So we'll hear from them on tomorrow's show. But yeah, they get the 19-8 victory. They scored 7 in the bottom of the first, 4 in the second, 2 in the third, 5 in the fourth. They didn't score actually any in the fifth. They got 1 in the bottom of the sixth. And then in the top of the seventh, UCSD was able to get 4 runs, but 19-8, so still went 7 innings. Pitching, bullpen game, Cole Carlone looked very, very solid in his 2 innings pitched. He had 1 hit, 1 run. It was earned. But just, again, using his defense, getting some pop outs, some ground balls. And then Wyatt Halverson came in, looked very good, pitched an inning. No hits, no runs, gave up a walk. But and then Braden Barnes pitched an inning. He gave up 1 hit, had 2 Ks and 1 walk. Jaden Alba pitched an inning, gave up 1 hit, 3 runs, 2 of those were earned. So a little bit tough. And then Hunter Omelet came in, and he pitched 1 inning, pretty much zeros, no hits, no runs, 2 Ks, and no walks. And then Tyler Meyer came in. He gave up 3 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, had 2 Ks, 1 strikeout. And then Jonah Giblin pitched 1/3 of an inning, all zeros, and was able to get the closeout. So 19-4 the final, 34 runs scored in 2 days. You'll absolutely take that if you're Willie Bloomquist. And yeah, the USD pitching struggled a little bit, but these bats, I mean, Campos was he was 0 for 4 with a walk. Kian Vu again 3 for 4. Harris Williams, he came in the game late, got an at bat, but he was 1 for 1. Nick McLean was 2 for 3 with a walk. Again, also had 1 of the home runs. He was 2 for 3. Jacob Tobias was also 2 for 3 with the home run and a walk. Even Lance, he came in later, was 0 for 1. But Ethan Mendoza, 3 for 4. Like I said, 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. The home run as well for Mendoza, his first. And then Isaiah Jackson went 2 for 4 with a walk. Mario DeMiro was 1 for 4. And then Ryan Kropel was 1 for 1, pinch hit, and got his first knock as a Devil. So that is absolutely awesome. Trey Newman was 1 for 4, had a walk yesterday too. And then Steve Ondina, 2 for 3. Had the home run, but also had a walk as well. So they capitalized hugely. And like I said, the pitching, Carlone, again, started out pretty smooth, looking good, and just, stacking up. We'll hear from Coach Bloomquist tomorrow too, as we get set for the weekend series against is it UCLA? I want to say it is UCLA. Washington, pardon me. Softball's playing UCLA. But yes, they are taking on UW in a big 3-game series. So that is absolutely awesome. Yes, I'm with you on that, man. Baseball, again, now you've won 2 in a row, got a chance to, you could make it 5, climb up the Pac-12 standings a little bit more, get a better seating for the Pac-12 tournament. And they got a little bit more. I mean, they have Washington and Stanford left. So, and they do play that school from down south on Tuesday. Don't forget about that. It's not a conference game, but still rankings wise and what it can do, what a win can do for ASU there. Yeah, huge. So get on out to Phoenix Muni then. But yes, keep this going. Yeah, like I said, 5 dingers yesterday. It was awesome to sit there and see that, Low Tone. I will tell you that much. It was very, very awesome to see that. But on that note, I am going to get out of here. It has been an awesome day. Again, just want to thank obviously Connor with the help getting the coordination with getting Coach Thurmond on, and the Pac-12, the men's Pac-12 golf coach of the year. So that is, just very, very awesome. So want to obviously Coach Thurmond, thank you so much. Much appreciated. And Connor, obviously, with help, and Kimber for, again, coordinating, getting Taryn Ames on the other day. And when they just got to Gulf Shores, and then getting Coach Rohr on for today. So awesome. So again, forks up to both those programs. Let's go. And obviously, not going to get out of here. Don't forget, 4:30 today, women's lacrosse taking on number 1 Stanford after they beat Oregon. They lost to Oregon last week. Coach Van Thoff talked about how our team was, how they've played, but just defensively, what they've refocused on. And yeah, they were able to down the Ducks yesterday in LA, and then today at 4:30. So let's go get it. But everybody have a great rest of your Thirsty Thursday. Hopefully I quenched a lot of your Sun Devil thirst. Again, men's golf coming up soon, and then Gulf Shores volleyball tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And then baseball, softball all weekend. So we'll hit it tomorrow, and then hopefully lacrosse. Get a win today, tomorrow off, and then playing championship on Pac-12 championship on Saturday. So let's get it done. Let's get a big, huge pitchfork lunch, positive mojo, and vibes out to all those teams. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Never know who we'll have come on. Could be another guest, but you guys have a great rest of your Thursday, and I shall see you tomorrow. And yes, we know it. It's a Sun Devil state. But as always, fans, forks up.
Cherry's three.
Johnny Walker, matching up against control. His shot, Bruce score, they score. They tie the game up 2-2.
Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls on. And Arizona State wins it. Edwards pulls off and buries the puck.
Daniels takes the shot.